What's going on, Giants fans? Welcome to Breaking Tackles, the New York Giants podcast, alongside with Manny. I am your host, Antonio. What's going on, Manny? Welcome back, man. We back to another show, man. How's everything going with you, brother?
Man, everything's good. Everything's good, and it's good to see you too. Hope everything's good on your side too. Before we start,
Everything is good, man.
I do want to go ahead and just say, obviously, everyone knows what's going on. It's been kind of a crazy 24 hours in general. So, as a world,
Right.
obviously, we talk Giants. We love what we love. A lot of times, obviously, we already know that those things don't matter when it comes to what really matters: our family, our health, our safety, and obviously, there's a lot of people going through it in Ukraine.
Right.
So we just want to just say, because we obviously have people that are close to us that are in the military. People on our Giants Twitter are in the
Yep.
military for sure. So just want to say thank you for the military, for the servicemen and women that go out there and
Absolutely.
give us our freedom to do what we want. And, to the people in Ukraine, to people that are affected to this, to our families and friends that are affected by this, you're in our hearts. We're praying for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming to watch. And hopefully we're a nice little distraction to what's going on in the real world. And God bless you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I cheers to that, man. If I had something to drink, I would have drank too. Yeah, guys, we're not gonna get too much into politics or current events, man. But we do have to acknowledge that, obviously, yeah. Just like Manny said, he said it perfectly. Hopefully we're the distraction for you guys, and hopefully we are just entertaining you guys with what you love, which is Giants topics, and if not Giant topic, things around the NFL, and hopefully we could touch base on a few things and suspend you from reality for even if it's just half an hour or so. So with that being said, Manny, the combine is coming up, free agency is coming up. It's finally turning into the off season where we could. I think this would be the last podcast where we're gonna be talking much about speculation, and we can finally start talking about actions in the terms
Right.
of we'll see combine, and we could talk about the combine. We're gonna see who's gonna get franchise tag, not only with the Giants, because obviously me and you, we already know what's the deal with that, and we'll touch base with that just in a little bit. But we'll talk about around the league who's getting franchise or what's happening left and right, because believe it or not, the franchise tag is gonna have really big implications on a lot of chess pieces. There should be a lot of trades happening this year in the NFL, a lot of quarterbacks that are disgruntled, and it's gonna be fun to see that play out. Franchise tag is gonna have a big part in that. So believe it or not, even though it's not gonna affect the Giants as much, it actually might affect the Giants.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about free agency, about hey, we know that we're not gonna be going after the top guys on the free agency list, but we are gonna be, we are gonna have to go after free agency. Everybody has to go after free agency, so we have to clear cap space. We've already mentioned in this program all the guys that we would actually try to cut off in order to create space. Go ahead, Manny.
And we have our consistent dudes:
Yeah, and we
Rudolph,
right,
Shepard,
right,
Martinez, Booker, Dixon, Barkley, Bradbury, question marks,
right,
restructure Leonard Williams, Kenny Galladay.
right.
You're at 40.
Right, and that's the guys that you think is going to open up the space. Just remember too, we have a lot of high draft picks. I'm not even just talking about the first two people who in the first round. We have high draft picks overall,
High
so we
twos,
have to, yeah.
a high three, and a third and a second three as
So
well.
we have to free up about $20 million just to pay our draft picks. So there is gonna have to be
Yeah.
work to be done. It's gonna be fun to see that happening. And yeah, man, that's the overall. Is there anything else you want to add to that overall that I just mentioned right now, Manny?
Yeah, on top of all that, we're also going to, continue to go ahead and just talking about our next draft prospect that we have a really strong conviction that's going to might possibly be there. As we keep talking about him and keep reviewing him, I kind of tend to believe he's not going to be there, because how is this man going to get past
Which Manny
any of
has
these teams
made
in
me
front
a
of us?
fan of, man. Now I want this guy to be there at 5 so we
Man,
can take him.
Kayvon Thibodeau. I can't wait to get into talking about him and what he brings to the table. But like you said, bro, there's so much before the draft that we can get into.
Yeah.
This is the time of the season that now it's free. It's offseason for everybody. And now we can talk about trying to get better
Yeah,
and, how this team can finally start, representing the city of New York well.
absolutely, absolutely. So first and foremost, let's start off with the franchise tag. It just started off now, so teams are now officially able to franchise tag people. Uh, we both agree that the Giants aren't gonna be franchise tagging anyone. There's no one deserving of a franchise tag. As much as I would want them to keep Ingram and I would want them to keep Lorenzo Carter, there's a nowhere near guys that you keep in franchise tag.
You must be the only person in Giants Twitter that would like to keep Evan Ingram.
Probably, yeah. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, 100%.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I am 100% certain that Evan Ingram is gonna go to a big time quarterback like a Joe Burrow, and he's gonna destroy. He's gonna have a nasty season, like just a nasty season, and we're gonna be like,
He
oh
has a
look. But then
he
everybody,
has a type of talent.
and yeah, oh, he definitely does, and he's never been used correctly in the Giants, and I think that's the one thing about it. And people are going to keep seeing this trend of players going in other teams and having good years, and then they're going to say, oh, look, they blew up in the other team. Well, we need to finally, and if that does happen, then we need to have the serious discussion of it's not just players' fault here in the Giants, it's the scheme. And I think Evan Ingram is going to be the number one case study for me this season coming up. If he goes somewhere else and he shines, it's a full on war on the Giants. I mean, I can't do anything at this point because it's a pass of the Giants, and hopefully these guys now know exactly what they're doing. But yeah, that's gonna be the case closed. We already know the reason why the Giants have sucked for like the past 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Right.
And I feel like we've already we've known that
And
and
we think
seen
so.
that already.
We just
So
don't have
yeah.
definitive answer to it. But me and you are like 90% sure that that is the fault of the New York Giants.
Fan base has very much felt that way as well too. Like there's not a lot of things that fans can agree on, but that's one thing I think all fans can agree on is that this coaching staff compared to what the coaches are now on paper are way more comparable and way more NFL ready to get a team back to prominence. So we already mentioned we're speaking of those players. We don't think any of those players are going to be free agents. I mean, are going to be franchise tagged or anything like that, are going to get big deals. But obviously, the Giants can go in a situation and say, "Hey, listen, we're not going to pay you. Go find a contract, or this is what we're willing to pay you. You can find better.
Right,
Cool. If
correct,
not,
correct.
come see us." So we already mentioned it. Do you think any of these players on this list are gonna come back? Like any of these players get re-signed?
I honestly I don't. I don't think that Hernandez, Lorenzo, Engram. I don't think any of those guys at the top of my head. I don't think of anybody else. Jabril Peppers.
Peppers
None
not.
of those guys is not gonna come back. And hopefully I wish him the best somewhere else because those are guys that I was fan of. I was a fan of Hernandez. I was a fan of Lorenzo Carter, Ingram, even Jabril Peppers. I liked his attitude. I didn't understand that trade for him how it was sold to us that he's a first round draft pick and then we got a first round draft pick for Odell was comical. But I'm not even I'm gonna try to stay as far away from the past as possible. In terms of the
Yeah.
league, is there anybody that you're looking to see if they get franchise tag and get the dominoes going? Like for example, my guy, I don't know if he's a free agent or not, but if Aaron Rodgers is a free agent, are they gonna franchise tag him? That's kind of like
Well, he's
where
not a free agent.
he's not
He
a
has
free
a
agent,
he
right?
right now. Aaron Rodgers' choices are he stays with Green Bay
Okay.
or he retires because the only other choice would be he gets traded, but that's on Green Bay. Like Green
Right.
Bay has a
Okay. So
choice
they
of
have it.
either
He's in a long term
they have
contract.
his rights, but there's
Okay.
something in the contract apparently that he says is like there's been a mutual thing that at the end of this season they're gonna look at it and then sooner than later they're gonna come to a solution. I
Okay.
think they're
So
probably gonna keep him. He probably
that
gonna understand.
okay. I honestly think that that he goes and the question is Devonte Adams then gonna get franchised because he is a definite
See
free
that
agent.
they've actually they've already created some cap space with some moves that they've made and some restructures to Aaron Jones's contract. So they're going to be able. So they're making room already, and I think the room is for Devontae Adams, and then maybe even extending Aaron Rodgers, giving him some more money and bonuses up front, and then extending that cap even more when you give them, because obviously you give them bonuses, takes less off the cap. I think
Yep.
that's going to happen, and I think they're going to come right back and do the thing one more time. I don't.
One
I was confident he was going to leave, but now I'm not really confident about that anymore.
about Devontae leaving.
Or Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, yeah. If one stays, I think they both stay. To be honest, but if one leaves, I think they both leave. That's how I feel like when it comes to the Packers.
This isn't Pippen and Jordan. They like each other.
One other guy that I'm interested to see, and obviously it's not the Giants would have no chance at all at this guy, but I'm interested to see what happens. And it's Orlando Brown, I think he is. Yeah, Orlando Brown Jr. With the
With the
Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah.
Is he gonna get tagged? Is he not gonna get tagged? And if he doesn't get
Can
tagged, where does he end up?
pay him?
Say it again.
Can they pay him?
I don't know, man. The Chiefs have a lot of names in that team. Like, yo, names means money, and it's just like, yo, where do you guys? I know the cap is fake, but damn, where are you guys getting all this money from?
Eventually you gotta pay.
Yeah,
That's true.
So it's like, yo, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, and then they're always gonna be in a good spot because they have the best quarterback in the league. So
exactly, and he makes average offensive lines look a lot better because he's out there, he's running for his life and stuff like that. So that's that.
I'll be interested.
Go ahead.
I'll be interested to see what happens with like Russell Wilson, because there was a moment that he's in a contract, but obviously there's rumors that he wants to be traded.
Oh, I think he's gone. So I think he's gone.
Bro, yeah. That's the one guy that I'm interested in, like where that's gonna, because he immediately, especially if he stays with, I mean, wherever team he goes to, he'll make that team better. And obviously there was a little thing for a minute that Giants fans wanted him. I was part of that train. I'm off that train now. But obviously we don't know. We have no idea. Like we could say we know this and that about Shane and what they're thinking about. We don't have any clue. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And I'm off that train. Yeah. But hey, we don't know. They're probably not going to do it. So I'm just interested to see where he's going to go, obviously. So there's going to be a lot of moves this year. Apparently, they said there's going to be a lot of moves this year. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely, man. Dude, it's going to be crazy because I don't think Wilson is going to go where. I mean, Wilson, I think Watson. If
Rodgers stays, Wilson can go to the Broncos.
I think Rodgers, Wilson, Watson. Murray is a possibility that those four guys might not play where they currently are right now, man, or where they played last season. So it's gonna be a crazy offseason, and that's something I'm gonna be excited for.
Always excited for that, definitely.
Any other franchise tag guys that you're looking to see, or any teams you're looking to see what to do with their franchise tags? I am interested in see what the
outside of the one thing Cowboys. They do have some interesting things to look at, but also too, pardon my French, fuck them.
Yeah.
I would have to say I live in Texas, so yeah. It runs deep.
I hear you.
I would say what I'm not so much franchise tags. I'm just interested to see what the hell the Bengals are going to do with their offensive line and who they're going to, because there's some good offensive linemen available. Teron Armstead, he's a left tackle who's available. Lakin Tomlinson is a dude that's available.
Yeah.
Like there's some. Like if they have, I think they obviously have Burrow on a rookie deal, so they can.
Yeah, they have.
They can.
They're one of the. I think they're like one of the top 3 teams with cap space this offseason.
And it's not like they're completely devoid of like offensive line talent, because they do have a Jonah Williams who was a first-round pick. You switch him to right side, you get Teron Armstead, and then sign Lakin Tomlinson for guard. That offensive line is already.
They're gonna have a really good offensive line next season. And it's going to be and they're probably going to draft an offensive lineman also in this draft.
Watch them be the ones to draft like Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine he falls all the way to 32 to them, though. That would be insane.
Speaking of, but we're talking about franchise tags and our guys. We just mentioned our guys in the very beginning of this. Mm-hmm. Who, if the Giants were to be like, okay, we got to sign one guy. We got to sign that guy to our deal. And we can get them at our deal.
A favorable deal.
Who would you want them to bring? Just because if they do bring back someone, it's going to be just one person.
All right, if it is one person, obviously, I don't know who would say another person. It has to be Lorenzo Carter. Carter has to be the number one guy in anybody's list of the guy that we want back.
The only guy worth coming back.
Yeah, because the dude played out of his mind in the last couple of games of the season. Is that a fluke or is that a real
Achilles
thing?
injury. I don't think he missed any time coming back from Achilles injury. He didn't look good coming back from an Achilles injuries, but then once he got towards the end of the season, he regressed. He got better.
Yeah.
And then yeah, even if the Giants do go ahead and draft an edge rusher and
Still,
bring more, that cool.
yeah.
Get a rotation going.
Get a rotation going. We know already what a
Yeah,
rotation does for pass rushers. We've seen
shit,
that.
yeah.
We've won championships that way. So as a Giants fan, you're not gonna convince me otherwise that rotation and depth chart at the edge position is a bad thing. So that's for sure.
I
Um,
would be ecstatic. There we go.
let's keep it at free agents. Let's talk about guys that you would want to see in the Giants that potentially could be a free agent. We don't know if they will resign with their teams. We don't know what's the deal, but just give me, a couple of guys that you are looking for. Like, hey, listen, it might be interesting to see this guy on our team.
These are three dudes, and they're all dudes that have a connection in some way. It'll probably come real sure once I start mentioning it.
Mm-hmm.
But first dude I'll mention is Jerry Hughes Jr., defensive end for the Buffalo Bills. He's 33, 256. Pretty much has been on. He's 6'2", so he's been with the Bills this whole time. Well, not this whole time, but just very recently. I think the Bills are a good organization, obviously, that we've seen recently. But then I
Right.
think also too, Shane has mentioned before about bringing in guys that are part of or not, maybe not part of the regime that were from the Giants, but part of the regime from the Bills, and bringing them
Right.
into the Giants to show those dudes in ways like show the young guys like, hey, this is veteran presence of how we like it and stuff like that.
So my only
How we,
concern with that is, are you
yeah.
pulling off the Dave Gettleman stuff that he did in Carolina?
Well, that's the thing. You would think, yeah, that would be the case, right? You would think
Right.
that would be the case, but this dude, I mean, and
He
just
plays
like
4-3 end. He doesn't play 3-4 end, right? Or am I wrong?
he's more than likely going to be a rotational 4-3-3-4 at defensive end.
And
Like he's a dude rushing the
and
quarterback. I
he's
mean,
up
rushing
there
the
in the
quarterback for
age.
sure.
He's 33 on age, so
33,
he's way past like football prime.
but check out because you would think so. Check out when he 2018
Right.
7 sacks, 2018 4.5 sacks, 2019 4.5 sacks, 20. Oh no, I'm sorry, 2018 7 sacks, 2019 4.5, 2020 4.5. Last year he had 2 sacks, not that much.
Right.
He plays. He's more of a rotational guy at this point,
But I
but he's
get
just a
you.
dude that I think they can
He
just
could bring
come in and just
culture. He could bring the culture
he
in.
can bring your favorite word,
Yeah.
culture. he he can bring in culture, and he can bring just a stability on the defensive line that would be more like he would be better than a Laurie Okunjobi that we tried to sign last year to convert to an outside linebacker. He would bring a little more veteran presence for a dude like Raymond Johnson, who's a rookie. Dexter Lawrence, who's still relatively young.
Right.
Leonard Williams, who's just coming into his prime.
Right.
The rookie that gets drafted here.
Right.
Like those guys, I think he's going to be good for. And obviously, I think the Giants are still going to go and draft or sign defensive tackles. I'd be interested in Jerry Hughes for sure, and
By the
Jerry Hughes for
way,
sure.
just to clear it up, I 100% agree with you that you do need players. And listen, Gettleman wasn't wrong about that. You gotta bring players that know how the engine, the car or whatever is run. You gotta bring those guys from Baltimore. You gotta bring a guy from Buffalo, so they don't have to be good. They just, hey, listen, this is how he likes things done. Whatever coach it is Dabo or Wink Martindale. That is necessary though, to be honest, because you do need your quote unquote your guys there. I mean, I just don't know what was the big deal about that, about him bringing Stewart and stuff like that. People were on his neck about it. Like,
Stewart stunk and was past it. Kelvin Benjamin tried to go ahead and get the commissary snacks before practice. There was like he brought in the wrong type of guys.
Yeah,
so I think
yeah.
dude like Jerry Hughes
the right
could be
idea, the wrong guys. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Another dude I'll mention, and I'll just touch base a little bit because I don't think he'll be like a big impact changer, but he'll be a return specialist and a dude who adds depth at wide receiver. Isaiah McKenzie.
I love it.
5'8", 164.
Another Buffalo players.
from the Bills. Yeah, and I think listen last
I
year.
love him.
The most he did last year was against the Patriots, 125 yards, one touchdown. Other than that, overall for the whole season, he had 178 regular season yards overall. And overall for his career from 2017 to now, he's had less than 1,000 yards passing. He's not the X receiver. He's not going to be a guy that changes life for the receivers, but I think he's going to be a guy that just add depth, return specialist, and a dude who's coming from that Buffalo Bills train again, who's going to be able to teach the wide receivers a little bit about the routes being run.
I like where you're going. I like what you're going with this. Like you do need that person to come in and just, tell people how things go, how coach likes done it.
Exactly.
You need them for
Yeah,
1 year
yeah.
so then you could throw them away.
And then we talked about it, and then I just mentioned a dude who can come in and teach the wide receivers about the play call, about the play chart, and about the plays for the Bills offense run by Dable or Dabs as he goes by. Where there's also another guy who I think that can do this for the quarterback, and this is my final dude I'll touch base on, Mitchell Trubisky,
Mitch.
6'2", from originally the Bears. Now he came from the Bills. 27 years old. He was a man that was drafted, if I'm not mistaken, second, third overall by the Bears.
Yeah.
Took the team to the playoffs. Wasn't really great after that. Twice he took the team to the playoffs. Obviously, we know what he brings, and I think that this is the dude. They say he's commanding big money because he wants to have an opportunity to start. I don't know if the Giants are going to be able to give him big money.
Yeah.
I think the Giants are going to be able to tell him, hey, listen, we get it. You want to try to start. You want to have an opportunity to compete. Well, this is what you have here. You have an opportunity to compete, and
that $1 million
exactly.
or whatever, $3 million.
And that if you play a certain amount of time, you'll get incentives, get more bonuses, and then I think too, they can also convince him. As you see the situation here with Daniel Jones, as much as talent as he has, he hasn't played a full season at all his whole NFL career. And just last year,
if you are a free agent, if you're a free agent quarterback, I'm telling my agent, call the Giants and tell them I'll go for free, bro. Like, give me an incentive written, just a fully incentivized contract.
We don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be healthy.
It doesn't even about healthy or not.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
give me the opportunity to compete against Jones. If I'm the alpha dog quarterback that I'm sure most quarterbacks are, I'm saying,
get me in the building. Yeah, and then I heard somebody mention it too, about like the quarterback room, protect the quarterback on the field, but bring in competition in the room.
Yes.
And that's how you make the quarterback better. And if anything, you can sell Trubisky on, hey, you've seen our situation with Daniel Jones. He doesn't stay healthy. He doesn't stay on the field for a whole season. If history serves anything, you will be playing and starting for the Giants at some point this year.
Yeah. One thing.
And I'm not saying we need to be excited about Mitchell Trubisky starting. I'm just saying that
I agree.
I think we've all kind of realized that this team, it doesn't look like this team is going to try to compete this year, but just try to get everything going. And they're gonna stay. They're not going to like go dog crap, right? They're not going to try to lose. I think they're going to try to be comparable, but I think their main focus is on building for the future.
Right.
But I think with that being said,
we'll be surprised. I mean, this team.
I think there could be surprises. I think things can happen, and I'm hopeful. We're all fans.
With the exception of Andrew Thomas, there is no pieces of the future right now on this team. Maybe Aziz and
Xavier McKinney.
You're right. We got three pieces for the future right now.
I would say Aziz as like a rotational dude. He is. Leonard Williams adds stability to the defensive line when it's in a better spot.
How many years left does Leonard have on his contract?
I think if Leonard Williams can still compete and then after this, I need to hear who you want as free agents.
Yeah, I got you.
I love the way you look at football, bro. But no, I think Leonard Williams, I think if Leonard Williams can, show consistency, and if the team is better, he's better with them.
Right.
Then I think he's deserving of another contract. And I think if anything, I just have a really strong feeling he may be switched into defensive tackle at some point this year.
Ooh,
and then
Leonard Williams?
Yeah. I can think Leonard Williams
nose tackle?
Yeah, I can see him being like a nose tackle. DN three in a 3-4, just because
I think that he doesn't like playing nose tackle.
I don't think he likes saying that, but if in a situation where you draft the best edge rusher in the draft and he's a D end,
Yeah, but
between him and Dexter Lawrence, I'd rather put him there.
no. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if let's say we bring Kayvon in, Kayvon and Dexter can play on the same side, because Kayvon could play outside linebacker, and like Dexter can play defensive end. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need to play nose tackle.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. So
I think Dexter, I think Leonard Williams can still be a can
Oh
still
wait,
can he can ball and he can still be
wait.
a
You're talking
beast
about
on this team.
Dexter Lawrence. I'm sorry, right? You're talking
I'm
about
sorry,
Dexter.
I'm sorry, Leonard Williams. No, you're right, Leonard
Okay, so
Williams.
Leonard Williams,
I think Leonard Williams
I
can still do his
don't
thing.
want him at nose tackle at all. The only time that I would want him at DT is if we're going to a 4-3. For sure,
Right.
for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Kayvon outside linebacker for sure, and we can have him on the same side. I think that would be an insane thing to see Kayvon on the same side as Leonard Williams. That would be a dream to watch.
And in a situation where, like, hey, what if the Giants draft Kayvon and then down the road and then down in the draft they draft Drake Jackson from USC? He's an outside linebacker. He may be like they put him outside linebacker, put Kayvon in D end. Right. I think he's good at both sides. But as far as free agents that we were talking about, getting back to that, who would you like them? Who would be
my number one choice? All right, so then at the top of my list, I think I'm gonna go with Kyle Fuller. Big disclaimer: it's not like I've been watching tape on the guys that I picked up. These three guys, I didn't watch film on them, so I don't know if they had a really bad season, a really good season. Obviously, Kyle Fuller didn't have a good season this year, just based on his numbers. But traditionally, I loved Kyle Fuller's game. He is a solid man guy, and especially when we're coming with Wink's defense, you're gonna need a lot of man coverage. I think that we have really good outside corners in Bradbury and in what's this guy's name? Adoree. But again, it's corner is one of the positions that you wouldn't mind having depth, and it's not gonna be a big splash. It's just I would want to see Kyle Fuller on a Giants uniform, because I just think that guy plays with a chip in his shoulder, and he's a guy that I always enjoyed seeing on other teams. Another guy that I would want to see on the Giants, and just because I feel like this guy, when they ask him to block, he has good blocking skills. Not great, but decent. But I love his hands, and I would say that's Jared Cook, man. Jared Cook, former tight end for the New Orleans Saints. I think
the tight end on every good team in the NFL. He changes teams every year.
It's like he changes teams every year, and he's always in a competitive team, or at least doing good things. Like, dude, this guy's good for like a really good fantasy week, at least once in a season.
We're gonna draft a tight end.
Hopefully, too. I mean, we need to adjust the tight end, and the tight end, and we're gonna talk about that when we talk about the combine. But yeah, Jared Cook is a guy that I would love to see him. He's obviously, I'm not asking him to step in and even maybe be the starter. Hopefully, we find a rookie for that. But it's another guy that I would want him to fill that tight end depth chart, because Rudolph is gone and Ingram is probably
a drafted rookie, Jared Cook, Caden Smith. That's a nice little depth piece, right? That's nice right there.
Yeah, and then the last guy is Jaylen Brown, a linebacker. I just
Tennessee, right?
Yeah. I just want to see. He's a guy that actually has really good coverage skills. His run stopping skills ain't there, but again, it's not a guy that I would want him to be there for the first or second down. It's a case in case we just don't address that the linebacker position, then fine. Let's get at least a linebacker that's capable to play pass coverage when it's third down, because it's just been a problem in the Giants. And as you guys all know that watch this podcast, I'm obsessed with talking about inside linebackers. So those are the three guys. Nothing crazy. Again, I'm not expecting big splashes. And to be honest, we don't have to get any of those guys. I'm just saying those are the guys that I would like to see, just based on what we need in here.
And this man, he's. I mean, he had one interception. He about 50 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, for if Martinez is gone, then you're bringing in some guy who started
And even if
before and
Martinez is
another
here, to
defense.
be honest, I just want somebody that's gonna be able to play coverage. I just do not trust Martinez's coverage. Or, hey, listen, if Jalen Smith is still gonna be in the Giants, I'm okay with just that. That's just that. Jalen Smith and
Yeah.
Blake Martinez, I'm interested in seeing that. I don't want to mind that.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
All right, so let's go now to Combine. Combine, it is actually starting on Tuesday, so just a few days
March
away.
coming up March the 1st through the 7th.
Yeah, so that's gonna be this Tuesday coming up, and
On a Tuesday.
yeah, on a Tuesday. And what? Just off the bat, what? Not even talking about players or anything like that, or who you want to see anything like that. What's your thing to do in a combine? Like what? Why do you like watching combine, Manny? Just let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's football coverage, right?
Yeah.
It's football coverage. It when it comes to like football, it really doesn't matter like
Right.
who runs the fastest or lifts the head. Like all that doesn't matter,
At
right?
all.
But the
Right.
interesting thing is just like that's where like the NFL meets
Right.
to go do their thing. You know, like this is where if Bradbury and Barkley are going to be traded, this is probably when it starts. Those talks. You know,
Oh, that's a
this is
very
also
good
like we're
point.
gonna be
Very
hearing
good point.
Shane and Dabble or Dabs. I keep saying Dabs. We're gonna be hearing Dabs and Shane having their press conferences since now that the staff has been assembled, and now we'll be able to ask them questions around
Ooh.
like who we're thinking about drafting, who you're looking for. There's gonna be situations
We're
where
gonna hear
they're
about who
gonna
they
be able.
interviewed.
Right, we're going to be able to look at those stories as well, and then obviously the combine itself. I'm interested in seeing the cornerbacks when they run their 40s,
Yeah.
wide receivers when they run their 40s.
Yep.
The offensive linemen and the drills they do, if nothing else, just how they look when they're like how they interact with each other, how they interact with the position drills themselves. You always love seeing the offensive line drills that like pretty much have the coach holding on the bag on the other side, just get decked every chance that the players try. Every chance they get. Those are going to be fun. Obviously, the bench press with the offensive linemen.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just going to be interested to see because apparently all the top guys, Kayvon, Aiden, they're doing everything.
Yes. Oh,
So I can't wait
that
to
sounds
see those
amazing.
athletic freaks do work. I can't wait to see dude like Sauce Gardner do work. I can't wait to see how Icky and Evan Neal and Tyler Lindebaum how they test out. Jermaine Johnson. I mean, an underrated dude that I had mocked on my mock draft that I posted Monday.
Right.
I had Manny Madrigal 58 on Twitter. Gotta get that out.
Gotta get that out. Gotta get that out.
Yeah, I had JoJo Domain in the 4th, who's like probably one of the top coverage linebackers in this draft.
Mm.
I can't wait to see how he tests because he's like a borderline safety linebacker hybrid type of dude.
Mm.
So I'm interested to see how he tests. I'm
What's
just
that guy's
interested
name?
in
What's that guy's name?
JoJo Domain from Nebraska.
Jojo Domain. I gotta keep an eye on that because
Yeah.
I definitely, if you know me, guys, again, I
Yeah,
would
what do you
I would
think, boy?
admit to it, man. Manny, first of all, I gotta give Manny a shout out where shout out is due. This man has been sending me cut up tapes of a whole bunch of college dudes, and especially he's been breaking down Kayvon, and just we going back and forth on the cut ups, man. And he sold me on this guy. But this dude is on top of these college prospects, and I gotta give you much props on that, cause I
Thank
can
you.
never,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, I mean it first off it's easy because our team has been dog shit for so long that like by October the season's over.
You
So all you can do
already
is get excited about the mock drafts and the
deep
drafts
into that. Yeah,
themselves.
I get you.
I'm a huge college football fan in general because I love I love watching football in general. I love college football. I'm a huge UT fan, Florida State fan, Syracuse fan. I love watching those teams play. I love watching like
Right.
the big games, the big rivalry games, big noon Saturday games. I love watching football in general, so it's always fun to be able to watch it. And now because I've been able to like get connected with Giants Twitter and so many other people, and the content out here is crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and the videos and the ways you can get connected to all 22s and stuff like that, and watch pretty much just tape. Like Doe Arrowbo, the dude from YouTube. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but I watch his tape. I watch his postings a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that I lean on a lot. Doe Arrowbo on YouTube. he's a dude that people need to follow and watch if you like watching tape. So yeah, no, it's always fun for
Definitely.
sure. And it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to watch these prospects for sure. Like that's why it's fun. Like during this time, it's not a lot of news,
Yeah.
but at least it gives you some time to be able to watch this tape. I mean, I'm over here falling asleep watching Kayvon tape the other day, having a dream, and it was like I woke up and he was on my screen. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for sure.
Oh man, nah, definitely, man. I listen. It's a lot of stuff. I think that when it comes to me, my draft prospect scouting, this is when it starts. It starts right here. It starts with, and I'm a weird person. I love seeing the combines numbers first, and then I'll go ahead and look at the tape of what they did
You
in the
want to see if it,
season,
you want to see if it translate.
because I just don't want to waste my time watching an amazing college tape that could have been because he was facing really bad competition, and then the guy can't run or the guy
And
that's not
yeah,
strong enough. So that
and
that's
I'll
just
say,
always my concern with that.
and I'll say this. I don't want to make it seem like I'm like I know. I don't listen. There's way more people that do this that more football than me. I know that you
Yeah, but
do.
you're doing a good job.
Well,
I wouldn't give you the shout out, and I
yeah,
wouldn't not
I
tell
know.
you
I
like,
feel
yo,
you. Yeah, yeah. I like,
you're on the
but
right
there's so
path.
many people that know it more. But
Yes,
what it is for
there's
me is
always
that
somebody that's gonna know it more. Yeah.
But what it is for me is that I love my Giants.
Mhm.
I love watching football. I love athletics and the world of athletics. And
Mhm.
I love being able to watch like prospects that are possibly going to be dudes that we could root for. And I love watching their tape and watching what they do, and especially when it's good tape. Like watching Ike Ekwanu's tape is
Mhm.
amazing.
Mm.
Watching Evan Neal tape is great. Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson. I'm going to get into Sauce Gardner here. Being able to watch dudes like Zion Johnson, JoJo Domain, Chad Moma. I mean, there's so many guys that we'll be here for another hour talking about it. So it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate the shout out, but it's I do it. It's a lot of people that are better at it, and there's a lot of people I follow and watch. So I appreciate those people I follow and watch. I try to shout them out as much as I can when I'm on Twitter or
Absolutely.
whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Let's talk about the Giants' needs coming into this combine. Obviously, the needs are
I think
tackle.
they're gonna I think they're going to look at offensive line and edge
Yep.
period in
Yep.
general, and I think depending on what happens with Bradbury, cornerback too.
They're looking everywhere. I'm assuming they're going to be looking everywhere because
Yeah,
obviously they have all these draft picks. They're going to have to address things. The positions of needs that we know for a fact, it's tackle, guard, defensive end, or outside linebacker, whichever one you want to go with. Inside linebacker, that's just my opinion. And tight end, for sure. They have
yeah. I
they have
would
those
say right
positions.
now tight end is probably higher because we
Way
still have
higher.
Blake Martinez on the
No, way
team.
higher.
If we think Blake Martinez is gone, so if Blake Martinez is gone, then tight end and linebacker, inside linebacker, are like 3A, 3B in that room.
Right. So, with that being said, just tell me, guys. Obviously, you know names. I don't. I'll tell you kind of guys that I'm interested in for sure. Just looking at, dude, I know that from the looks of it, it doesn't look like the Giants are going to be in the quarterback draft market this season. I'm still interested in to see what Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Desmond Ryder. I'm looking at all those guys. I want to see what they're gonna do in the combine. I want to see numbers. I want to see how
Yeah.
deep they're gonna throw the ball. I am 100% invested in quarterbacks. Um, what are guys that you are looking out? Even if it doesn't even have to do with the Giants, what guys are you just looking at? Like, yeah, guys for the Giants, but also just I'm invested no matter one of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Hamilton is one guy that shoots in my head because
The
I
safety
think he's
from Notre Dame,
I'm yeah the safety from Notre Dame.
right?
I mean, I'm interested if that's going to change because we're kind of hoping that a team in front of us gets him right
Yeah, because they
because
would
if a
drop
team in front of
everybody
us
else
gets
who's
him, that
above.
means someone's going to drop.
Yeah,
One of those big four is going to
I
drop.
mean, if Kyle Hamilton runs a 4.4 or better, he's
At six
definitely
four.
he's definitely going to be drafted in the top five.
Yeah,
So for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. If he looks fluid, if he tests like he's gonna, I think he'll get drafted in the top five. Like I just have a feeling if those four guys are gone, the Giants are probably end up just gonna draft him. I don't know how I'd feel about it, but we'll see. But I
Yeah, I
mean,
would
I'm
hate that.
interested to see him. I'm interested to see. Yeah, I'm interested to see. We're talking Ferguson from Wisconsin, the tight ends in general, Ferguson,
We got tight
McBride,
ends.
Weidemeyer,
Yep.
a later round pick, Charlie Kolar. He's like 6'6" from Iowa State. I'm interested to see how he plays.
So
Another dude from
according
I think Greg
to
Dulich.
I'm gonna give you right now. According to Bleacher
Yeah.
Report, this is how they break down tight ends. The best wide receiver is Trey McBride. Um, the most versatile is Trey McBride. The best blocker is Cade Oten, and the most pro ready is Cade Oten. I don't know who have you heard of
Cade
that
Oten's
yet?
from Washington,
From
right?
Washington, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
Huskies. Yeah, yeah. He's. I don't know how I feel about. I don't know how I feel about him, to be honest. I think he might be all right, but I mean, if I would rather take either Trey McBride or Jalen Wademeyer or Jeremy Ruckert
Okay.
or Ferguson over him. But
And
he may
tight
be better than
ends. So how you make your money if you're a tight end? You better run a good 40 coming up this combine. You
that'll be yeah.
you
So
kill your
those. So
40,
obviously
you skyrocket
interested
up.
in him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see Daniel Fahaley. Daniel Fahaley from Minnesota, 6'8", 380 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
My man's a mountain. And,
Which one? What's his name? What's his name?
Daniel Fahaley
Okay.
or Falele, Daniel Falele.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a right tackle. He never played high school football, but he played rugby and he played rugby in Australia and he got offers from Alabama, from Clemson, from top schools in the country to have to play college football, not even ever playing high school
What?
football.
He's six
And then he
nine.
6'9", 6'8", yeah,
What? This guy's a
380
freaking
pounds.
mountain, dude.
Yeah, bro. He's
He's
really
young as
good.
hell too. He's
He's a really
22.
interesting prospect, huh?
He's 22. He's young as
Yeah, he hasn't
hell.
played football. He the only football he's ever played was 3 years in Minnesota as a right tackle.
Oh, so he has a lot of
He's at least played
experience.
3 years, and then he trained in IMG, but he never really played high school football and played football for the first time in Minnesota.
What's his draft grade?
Second, third.
Second and third. Yeah,
I've liked him for a
that
while. I've liked him for a while, and there's a lot of film out on him, so that's something we might talk about. But I'm interested to see him and see how
he's
he
on my
tests
radar
because
now.
yeah, I'm interested to see and see how he tests. I'm very very interested in Charleston Rambo from Miami, the wide receiver that I was telling you about that I've
Okay.
been mentioning. He broke the records for receiving yards for receiving yards in Miami.
I saw
When
him a
you do
few
that
games. Yeah.
in a career,
Yeah.
like he's known as fast. Like that's his trait is fast. He's like John Ross, and he originally was from Oklahoma too. So he's played in Oklahoma, he's played in Miami. He's been effective in both spots. I'm interested to see
Wow,
how
he's
how
not,
he tests as
according to
well.
Bleacher Report, he's not even on their top tier list of
Yeah, he's like a sixth rounder. He's a sixth rounder. We're
mm,
getting into the sixth round drafts prospects.
sleepers.
The sleepers, the dudes, the boys.
I love it.
Obviously I'm obviously interested in watching the big five, dude. The big five. Iki, Kyle. We already mentioned Kyle, Aiden, Kayvon, Evan Neal.
Right.
I'm interested to see those guys. Zion Johnson is another guy. I mean, I'm interested to see like players. Like Sauce Gardner, how he runs a 40. Roger McCary, how he runs a 40. Chad Mumma, the linebacker from Wyoming. I'm
Yep.
interested to see how these dudes go. Jesse Lakuta, fourth, fifth round option from Penn State, like a linebacker kind of a guy. Brandon
Yep.
Smith, another linebacker from Penn State. Devin Lloyd, Drake London.
So
I
Devin
mean, it
Lloyd was
seems
a
like
guy that I
every
was
year, it seems
definitely
like
looking at.
Bro, it seems like every year the draft just gets loaded and loaded and loaded. And because of the pandemic, seniors being able to come back because they might have lost a season, it's gonna be have a lot of experience this year. Like you might
So
be able to find a fourth or fifth rounder who's gonna come in and start. Like the Giants have a shot to get a fourth rounder who's gonna be their starting tight end.
yeah, I mean they have six guys graded pretty good at linebacker. They got Nakobe Dean, Devin Lloyd, Christian Harris, Chad Muma, Darian Beavers, Brandon Smith, and Jacoby McLean of Auburn. They're all and
Mm-hmm.
Henry Tutu is also graded pretty high. So that's a lot of guys in the linebacker in the inside linebacker position there.
It's a very deep. It's deep. It's deep in a lot of spots. So we're going to be in a good shape depending on guys we let go.
And
So I'm
Muba is a
excited.
safety turn linebacker too, so that's gonna be interesting to see how he does in terms of
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. And
the
then like that, and then
weights.
that one dude Wilson from Cincinnati, the linebacker there, he comes from Wyoming, so that could be possibly. That's probably see my help, Chad, down the draft board.
I'm really interested in also the corners, man. I love yo. We were talking off camera about Ahmad Garner and how
Oh,
crazy season he had this year. Um,
crazy career.
if he if he puts up like God numbers in the draft, I'm okay with the Giants.
Quickly,
I'm okay with the Giants taking him at 5.
I've already kind of told myself, depending on who they take, he may need to be the guy they take at 7, because man, I mean, he hasn't given up a touchdown in
I
college.
mean, who has
Three
to be
years
there?
in
Who has to be there at 5 for you not to take him?
Kayvon, Kyle, in this order. Ike Ekwonu, or I'll just
Okay,
one of the
okay,
top offensive tackle, a top edge rusher, or Kyle Hamilton.
okay,
Those
okay.
3 guys have to
Give
be
me.
there for me to take him.
All right, I'll give you the scenario. Kayvon gone. Karlaftis. No. Oh, no, no. Kayvon gone.
Hutchinson.
Hutchison gone. Iquano gone. Evan Neal gone. Giants pick at 5.
Hamilton.
You're taking
Hamilton,
Hamilton.
just because at
You're
that point
taking
he's the
Kyle
best player on the
Hamilton.
board. Honestly, bro, I don't want the Giants to f
Ooh.
around. And Shane has said, bro, Shane has said at the end of the day, you're never gonna go wrong with taking the best player on the board.
Wow.
That's all I'm saying.
Yo,
That's
I
it. That's
hope,
all it is.
I
All this is.
pray to God that doesn't come down to that.
I know.
I
That's why
pray
Hamilton
to
needs to go
God.
off in the
I
draft,
need the
in
draft
the
not to
combine.
go Kayvon, Hutchinson, Neal, and freaking
Holding our luck, bro. It's gonna probably happen. God damn it. It's okay. It's
Iquano.
okay. It's okay.
That would
We'll
be
see.
nasty, bro. Okay, so who do you want in your at 7 if you want Cal Hamilton at 5? And that's the
It
number
would
that I
be.
gave you.
I would need either a trade back or Kenyon Green. A trade back or Kenyon Green. I would be really hot by that point, and it needs to be a trade back or Kenyon Green.
Yeah.
And Kenyon Green's a nice interior offensive lineman who also played right tackle and left tackle in college, so he brings that versatility as well.
And Kenyon, according to Bleacher Report, they have him graded as the number 39th overall player in terms of the
Yes.
big board. Bleacher
Oh
Report.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That's why they're
have
on the bleachers now.
yeah. They
Yeah.
have Linderbaum graded higher than him, and they have Cross graded higher than him.
See, I think he's better than both those guys.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but that I mean, what do I know?
Ew, that left a bad taste in my mouth. If that was
Hey, well, let's talk about let's go ahead and get on this last thing. Let's talk about our guy. Let's get some good taste in our mouth.
Yeah, man. So give me a breakdown of Kayvon, man. It's been a guy that you've been studying the entire week. You've been going back and forth with me in films. I love what you've been sending me, man. Talk to me a little bit about that guy.
Man, Kayvon Thibodeau, edge player from Oregon, 6'5", 258, from South Los Angeles, California. Obviously, the first thing that comes off the board when you see him, he's an athletic freak. He has power. He has quickness. He's relentless. When you hear him talk, he's motivated. He's humble. He has that DAGG mentality. He has that dog mentality.
What we
He's
need.
mature. Yeah, he's confident. He's a dude. He already has a foundation. When it helping troubled youth reach their full potential. Like that's the foundation. Message.
Yeah.
Like one on my notes I have in here on my notes. I want him as a Giant. So that's how it starts. He has a quick first step. I'm not going to really go through pros and cons. I'm just going to kind of link them all together. But he has a good first step. Like if he like a lot of plays, you'll see him. It almost looks like he's jumping off sides because that's how quick he is. He's taking out. He has a great first step, a good bull rush. He's a versatile pass rusher, meaning he can go. He can impact the game from the outside against a tackle, from the inside against the guard, and his power shows up against both. Like there's been plays where he's backing up guards, backing up tackles. Like he's He's really good there. He has this. There's lots of running plays that you've seen, or plays that when quarterbacks are kind of getting off, he'll chase them down and has that speed to be able to chase down.
Right.
I've seen him being able to get sacks from hands on the dirt or standing up as an outside linebacker. So he has that as well.
He has a technique.
He also has some coverage skills. Like, it's not his best suit, and you definitely see some plays where he lets first down, where like when first down goes, especially the UCLA game last year. But he's a dude that he at least has that in his arsenal. So it's interesting. You'll see him out in the zone here and there in the middle of the field. He kills tight ends and running backs, so don't even let him block. Don't even have him blocking them, or don't have those dudes block him.
Yeah, it's
He
true.
really does. He has good enough power to be able to fight off double teams and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He has good body control, good hands. We already talked about his pressure. Obviously, there's injury history because he was injured last year. He had a left ankle sprain earlier in the season. He did play through it. His first game back, I think he did get a sack coming back against, if I'm not mistaken, Washington. So, so he has that. He has that dog mentality like we talked about. He doesn't have the best elite bend. He has good hips. He has good speed. He doesn't have the best bend. He works with like being able to like leverage dudes, and like he has a really good like up the hip, like being able to bend his shoulder and get from under the tackle. And
The stab.
he really
The
has
stab.
he has a good first snap, and he has a good first step that helps with that speed.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, a big question about his motor and his motivation has come into play.
Mm-hmm.
But to me,
and that could just
he's
simply
exactly.
be, and listen, that's funny. That could just simply be scouts trying to lower his value so that he can fall down and they can take him too. The game is dirty, man, and people just don't understand that.
Yeah, and to me personally, dude, he's what the Giants need. He's an edge rusher. Like I already said, he has speed, he has power, he's athletic, he's tough.
Right.
In this wink system, he's perfect for this wink system. And Wink has experience. He's been a guy who's coached. He's coached Elvis Duverville and Matthew Judon, and then Wilkinson, another the outside linebacker coach now, who's coming from the Ravens. He's coached an inexperienced Jason or Falafel away from Penn State.
Right.
He's coached that guy and he had a pretty decent rookie season for a dude who was coming in kind of a little inexperienced. Our new defensive line coach, Patterson, he worked with Daniil Hunter with the Vikings. So there's coaches on this staff that has worked with really good defensive ends.
Right.
And I think Kayvon, he's not as raw as people come out to make you think he is. Right. Possibly. He does need to develop better, more consistent, moves and more consistent edge rush moves. Right. He's not a finished product for sure.
Right.
He's an athletic freak.
But he's the highest ceiling, probably.
And that's what we want, bro. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be able to flourish in pro coaching. And I told you, I don't want these try-hard guys and these guys that are, that they're going to come in and give you a worker's 9-to-5 day and work hard. Like, I want athletic freaks that's going to be able to play at an all-pro level when they have pro coaching and pro players next to them.
I agree.
Not to mention also, man, he has them. Like, you listen to his interviews, he has that mental, bro. He knows being a top 5. He knows being a top 5 pick, being a top 3 pick. He knows that he's coming into a team that's not very good, and it's not just his goal to be the best player in the NFL, but it's his goal to bring the dudes up with him, not just on the defense, but on the team. And he knows that he's coming in with that responsibility, and he's going to work accordingly to it.
Yeah.
The more I talk about him, the more I can't believe he's going to be that he's going to be there at 5. I want this man on our team.
Yeah.
If he's there available at 5, Joe Shane should be grittying his way to the stand and handing in that ticket.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna see them clapping in the camera on the war room and stuff like that.
Kayvon would be amazing for the Giants. Yeah. And as I'm looking at it, I think a lot of crazy things happen, and there's a lot of times that there's guys in the draft that you don't think is going to slide that do slide. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think if Kayvon's there, there's no way the Giants don't draft him.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The one thing that I want to emphasize out of what you said, and it was a video that you sent me, is how articulate this man is. He is amazing. And he was also talking about how it's chess, and his last move is always setting up the next move. That, as somebody who appreciates pass rushing, you could definitely understand it's you setting up everybody for the next one. So I definitely think that you're onto something with this guy. Obviously, if he's there, we gotta take him. My concern is that he's probably not gonna be there, and then we're gonna probably be. And this is, I guess, is a good thing. We're gonna get stuck with Hutchinson, and that's fine too. You can't be wrong with that neither at that point. So that
Right. And I
that's
think if
that's
anything, I mean, there's I wouldn't take Kayvon if there's like a top offensive tackle on the board, like Ikem Ekwonu, Evan Neal. I'll take those guys over Kayvon,
I agree.
but I don't see a world we live in where Kayvon's on the board at 5 and the Giants go elsewhere.
Cow Hammer
I don't see that.
three.
But also too, I can't see Kayvon dropping. Like I don't know
Yeah,
how the Texans. I can't put in my mind the Texans can draft somebody else or
yeah,
the Jets won't draft him. I can't. I just don't know how that's gonna happen. I
yeah.
don't know.
It's gonna be interesting to see that, man. On that, and on that note, man, we're gonna wrap it up with the good feels of Kayvon, man. Anything else you want to go ahead and tell the guys out there and girls watching this podcast before we wrap it up?
I appreciate the support. You guys already know at MANNYMADRIGAL58 on Twitter. Follow Breaking Tackles on socials, Facebook, on Twitter, BT Giants.
Oh yeah,
Follow us on Instagram as well.
yep. BT
Again, we
Giants also.
appreciate and love you guys. And man, it's a fun time of the year. So let's keep it fun and let's keep it light. Obviously the world, there's a lot going on. So prayers for everyone around the world.
Thoughts and
And
prayers, baby.
hey,
Absolutely.
just make sure your loved ones, let them know you love them.
All right, guys. Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. For Manny, I'm Antonio, man. Guys, have a great one, man, and happy weekend, man. Finally, football is here, something to talk about. Combine is up. We're gonna break that down for you guys next
Hey
week.
Vaughn, come to us.
Let's go, baby.
Hey Vaughn. Kayvon. Kayvon.
Kayvon!